So my name's Neil Taylor. I work at the Manakin Expert Simulation Centre, which is part of Doncasterand BassetlawTeaching Hospital. My role there is simulation technician, so not just the sim centre, the skills lab at Doncaster and Bassetlaw as well. So my primary role is to do with Manakin, so any high fidelity Mannequins we've got that Tracy's fully aware of. Thank you, Tracy. Our high fidelity Mannequins, how often they go wrong. Yeah, so my role is to fix them when they go wrong and help facilitate some of the courses along with the doctors and facilitators we have there. So today we're going to be talking about something that's come up recently to do with the Health and Safety Executive and Sheffield Teaching Hospitals, who have done a lot of research on infection control and PPE that frontline clinicians are doing or not doing. So I've been tasked with creating a Mannequin. So it all started when, or for me it started when the Health and Safety Executive and people at Sheffield Teaching Hospitals have conducted their research and wanted to develop a course where clinicians could come through, do some clinical skills, get covered in a bit of fluid and see where they'd been infected. Now, what they found is that throughout the region, people were using different types of PPE and they were taking it off in a different manner. So what they found is people were still being covered in infected bodily fluids. So they come to our sim centre and said to our director at the time, can you create some learning outcomes and come up with a course so the clinicians could come in and use their Mannequin, which they've currently got, I'll show you. That was their original Mannequin. So that produced ultraviolet fluid and all it did was vomit. So they come to us and said, we need this course building. I was sat in the room at the time, and me being the technical coordinator and being good with my hands, I said, well, what do you need your Mannequin to do? They turned around and said, we need to vomit, diarrhea, sweat, bleed, and cough. And because theirs at the time didn't, I put my hand up and said, I'll build you one. What a journey that turned out to be. And for those of you that are eagle-eyed, you'll notice I brought a Lairdale Mannequin to a CAE conference. Yeah. So, once they'd done their research, and I knew what I had to build and how I had to build it, the course has been designed at Expo Sim Centre. So like I said, it's been funded by Sheffield Teaching Hospitals and Health and Safety Executive. I've got the money from them to build what you can see in front of you. It's cost less than about £300. And for what it does, I think that's pretty amazing if I do say so myself. So objectives of the simulation and the learning was to evaluate the PPE that was being worn and how it was taken off. Obviously a clinical training Mannequin had to be designed to deliver this synthetic fluid. Now, rather than it just being coloured fluid, what was quite magical that they'd done their research on is that if the different bodily fluids had different ultraviolet colours that you couldn't initially see, you didn't know where you'd be infected. Because a lot of bodily fluids, you can't really see, especially if they're very, very tiny particles. So their idea was to have each different bodily fluid a different ultraviolet colour, which, as you'll see later, is going to look quite amazing on one lucky volunteer that's going to get covered. So as you can see on the bottom of it, on the reading word for word, users can instantly see when they're in the PPE under ultraviolet light how badly they're covered. Now, the idea being is once you take it off, you think, oh, I've taken it off, this is what I do day in, day out, I'm fine. However many times out of 10, I don't know the exact statistics, but you're not completely clean. So that's when it hits home. So the idea being is they're going to roll out this nationally. So this Mannequin hopefully is going to be used by other sim-techs. The idea is it's very, very easy to build, it's very cheap. So technicians can build this exactly like it is. They're making more high fidelity or lower fidelity, it doesn't really matter. So that's my back garden. So once I got all kit, I went to Health and Safety Executive and said, this is what I want to build it. And they were happy for me to order the stuff, and then I took it home over a Saturday and Sunday, and that's me just before I started. What I will point out, this is next door, but one is a shop that's got a balcony on it, and it's quite a big family there, and the looks I got when I went in on a Saturday afternoon and they peered over and went, what are you doing in your back garden? You can't really explain that to someone that doesn't know what's going on. So what I had to achieve in building this, it had to be affordable and easy to build so others could replicate. Like I said, it's going to be a national course. So our sim centre is going to pilot it. We're going to come up with the learning objectives and the scenarios. It's then going to be rolled out, hopefully nationally. What Sheffield Teaching Hospitals and the Health and Safety Executive have done is already got some trusts on board Now they have a unified standard of donning and doffing PPE and the brand of PPE. We'll get to them later, who's already taken on board. Because what I'd imagine is quite hard from their perspective is walking into a trust and saying you have to do this. They're going to say, no, we've done it like this for however many years, they're not going to pay attention. This will drill home when you've taken it off. It will reiterate to the learners that, we probably need to make a change. So, readily available parts. Running through some of these very quickly, we'll go into it in more detail, you can have a hands-on play around. 2 plastic tubs at the top, one of them does vomit, one of them does diarrhea. They are bird seed pots from my mum's house. It didn't cost me anything, I think it's £5 a tub anyway. Underneath that there's water butt taps, which are drilled holes in. Hose pipe into 2 water pumps, which was about £75 each for the pumps. The generator cage, so it's portable, that's the key bit. You can run this in situ. It's being brought here on the bed, the Mannequin and that portable thing. Strap some wheels to generator frame and some handles, some more tubing and some hose pipe connectors. It's really, really portable, really easy to build if you go with a screwdriver and a spanner. So like I said, easy to repair because the cheap, portable. Correct flow rate of fluid, that's quite difficult because obviously if you get 1,000 litres a minute coming out, it's going to be very unrealistic. So them pumps run at 80 litres a minute, which is a little bit too high from what you'd expect, but you can always reduce that down. You can't put it much above the pumps. Timings of fluid delivery. Now, currently, because the microbiologists are very good at what they do, when the learners come through, they want a specific amount of fluid coming out. So what we're looking at doing that's already in place and being tried is having timers for the mins and having a wireless device that you can stand back, click, and you'll get exactly 1.5 seconds of fluid. So every learner that comes through gets the same amount of fluid put on them. So each time it's going to be exactly the same, nothing's going to change. Ease of use for multiple candidates. With that one, I've seen it in person, it's a really good design, but filling it up, you kind of get a one use. With this, if you wanted to, you could continuously make it vomit and have fecal stuff coming out because you just literally pour it in. It's open, there's no messing about, as you can see, pop it in, come straight out. That one's kind of a one use. So the idea with this is you can get more learners through rather than just however many they had. I'm not sure how many that was. So that's it connected up, as you can see. Again, testing stages, I think that was a Sunday. And when I'd gone back round to the shop for my tea, they had even more questions. I think I got that look of, what are you doing? So I did explain to them and thought that was pretty cool. There's just a few images of the build and the testing. So this is when I went to Health and Safety Executive with the people who've helped fund this as well, and they're the guys who've done all the research with the Sheffield Teaching Hospital. They've been absolutely fantastic at what they've done. It's very, very easy to build. It's just a couple of hose pipes, a couple of copper connectors. But what I will add on to this is that we've had paramedics coming to our sim centre for another new course that's coming up, which is an advanced airway course. Now, they love the idea of a vomiting mannequin, but you can't intubate that because I cut all the airway off and the pipe was hanging out. So it's since been redesigned. So it has a full airway, you can intubate it, it has lungs so you can bag it, and it's got chest recoil now, but it still vomits. So for what costs less than £300, it's now become something that's not necessarily available. Other people have done vomiting mannequins, but it's got full airway and it vomits. So it's kind of looking for gaps in market using cheap kit that's already readily available. It doesn't require anything massively expensive, like I said, for the whole thing. The Mannequin was going to go in a bin, so I stripped it all out, it wasn't used anymore. But you could put this on a Bristol Yandor. It doesn't have to have arms and legs, it could be absolutely anything. It's more about the system rather than the Mannequin itself. But we will open him up and show you what's inside him as well. So, just a little video of when he was running. We're going to demonstrate it as well later. So this is at the Health and Safety Executive, Buxton, and the people who've got their PPE on are ones from Sheffield Teaching Hospitals, who's had the most input on this. And I'm in the background with the buttons ready to drench them. So they're just simulating clinical observations, as you would do.
Okay, we're going to sit Violet forward. Will you help me sit her up and just have a listen to her back? That's it. Oh, okay. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Right, let's pop you back down again, shall we? Okay, well we need to help clean you up a bit. Just need to have a look at your tummy and a feel of your tummy. How's your tummy been feeling? Oh, you have a bit of a tummy. Oh dear. Okay, right. Okay, we're going to need to get some cleaning. Yeah.
We roll.
Okay. I think because we've been quite exposed here.
What you couldn't see from that as well is the sneeze or the cough. We can see that on on their PPE later. So like I said earlier, you can make it as simple or as complex as you want. You could just have someone with a switch, as this currently is. I've done some testing with mains timers and wireless controllers because it just makes it that little bit better if someone's not sat there. In simulation, you can immerse yourself a little bit more and you can make them surroundings a lot better rather than stuff that's not what you wouldn't see in your clinical environment. So, as you can see from there, hopefully, you'll see this is when we were testing the UV fluids. So, Sam Hall and Brian Kruger from Health and Safety Executive come in and we were testing consistency of the fluids, how bright the fluids were. They've even gone as far as the light frequency of the ultraviolet lights, because there's certain UV frequencies that will pick these fluorochromes up, which is the powder that we mix with the fluid. That's also in testing, and this is immediately after the video we just seen. So it's not intentionally covering them like this one was. That is them just lifting the mannequin up and me dousing them in ultraviolet fluid. And you can see that's, so we've got cough, the red stuff over there, so each one is always the same. So the sneeze or the cough's always red, the sick's always blue. And I think the green is sweat that's applied. We mix that with glycerol because it sticks quite well. We've got an IV arm as well that's yellow, so we can identify where they've come from. Right, we'll move on then. So a little bit practical, show you in action. Any volunteers? From my perspective, it is more of a what you can do in identifying something that you haven't got or isn't available. You can do for very cheap.
Yeah.
I'd already
See, it's a bit pointless though, because if you're told one thing how to put something on, and everybody just does it, and someone else does it over, someone else does it under, it's quite good that it is being rolled out as a national standard. Ready?
Yeah.
Right. We'll go with, we're just doing it to C. So check airway, breathe in, and then check carotid and radial pulse.
Get close. Do it again now. I should tip him over.
Right, check his radial. Alright, before I have to get my part then. So what is a very, very quick 10-second clinical assessment? You think how long that would have to be if someone's vomiting on you, which we're not going to do because that's even more fluids. It's going to be quite messy. So, you stand to the side so everyone can see you.
This side?
Yeah, and I'll have a look when you're covered in. Have we got lights in?
Putting up the lights now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
There, aren't they?
Oh, it's all on
Let's
your
see.
neck.
It's all in my eyes. Wait till you see my eyes.
Right, so it's in the hair. So you can see which colours we've got. A little bit of sick on front, lots and lots of sneeze. Realistically, that's too much sneeze than what you would get. Again, it's all down to times, but that's on your forehead, in your hair, and your hat. And if we go slow twirl, you've got a lot back of you. Yeah. So, if you take that off, the other thing to note as well is that if you're not being sick or sneezing or doing whatever or sweating, there's still
Does
quite
the
a lot.
sneeze happen at the same time as the recipient?
No, so I control each one. So
Right.
I'll go over what does what.
Oh my god.
That is excessive. There is a time in delivery for the sneeze,
Right.
so it will be more refined. It's all about getting it right, especially one from what microbiologists want, because they're quite keen about spray patterns and delivery as soon as possible. But like I said, this is just about looking at stuff.
Put it on your shoes as well.
So still on your hands, and you had gloves on.
Yeah, that's one I've taken off.
That's already taken off.
And
Yeah.
Got it in the wrong order. Yeah, undo eyes.
little bit.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of you. A little bit in your hair. Yeah, a little bit of blue on back. Yeah, so it just gives you an idea how important what HSE and Sheffield Teaching Hospitals are doing. And for me to be a part of this and for me to sit there and go, I'll sit down, I'm good at doing that. So, like I said, one's for sick, there's 2 pumps underneath. One's for diarrhea and for sneezing mechanism. This has changed slightly, so I've got 2 systems on go. This was the first one. The second one involves a pressurised can that you can open up, put some fluid in, and then just pump it up with a bicycle pump. And then it's just a case of mounted in Manakin, which has been done, but because I've changed the airway, so it suits the paramedics, I've put the health system. But there's always updates to come. So all it is basically is just to put a syringe with oxygen tubing on, and then currently in that head is just like a Dettol nurse spray, so So obviously it's all about just deciding whether you want to spend a lot of money and making it very high fidelity or very accurate to what a human would sneeze, but for the sake of a sneezing mechanism that didn't cost anything, you can replicate that sort of things.
When we use the glitter gel for a demonstration of effective hand washing, I've got quite a few students now that are becoming allergic to that, so I can't get all of them to use it. Can you tell me about are there any allergic properties here that might cause?
Potentially. So the fluorochrome powder, as far as I'm aware, is not something that's known or anyone's known to be allergic to. However, across all these under here, some of these have been mixed with different fluids to create consistency. So that one I believe is glycerol, and for the diarrhea we use something very, very thick, but that might be the diarrhea. So in answer to your question, I don't know. I can find the answer out and pass that information on to you. But the fluids have been chosen and tested by microbiologists at Health and Safety Executive. That's their bread and butter. So I don't know the answer, but I can find out for you if you wish.
I would, because it's a cream thing, I think it might be lanolin, which is the sheep's wool
Right.
thing that quite a lot of people are allergic to. But
Not sure. I know they've done lots and lots and lots of testing on it, all the way down to dilution as well in either water or glycerol or any other. Tried all sorts of stuff. We've even put something in there called Lumbrices Solsperse, which is something that helps when you put the powder in, it doesn't set on the bottom. It keeps it suspended and helps it. What's the word? It just suspends it and really refines it down. But I don't know other than that if I could be allergic to it. Does anyone want to come and have a look inside him? Have a look at closer look at sponge, yeah? Jump up.